Good morning, welcome to a morning review. This is Kim Watson speaking on Thursday the 30th of July. Okay, looking at the euro dollar, and yesterday we pretty much saw a sell-off of the markets for quite a while, with the euro sold off through most of the day there. Daily ended up on a sort of continuation of that sort of bearish harami sort of pattern, and a continuation. We've seen a break of that now, the lows of that, and that continuing even further at the moment. I talked about it earlier in the week. There's the weekly pivot below us. There's a reasonable chance of that being hit now. It's had quite a strong sell-off into this particularly the FOMC sort of gave it a sort of a whipsaw sort of action, and we're now seeing it sort of run down towards that weekly pivot and the daily S1, which is pretty much in view now. Beyond that point now, I'm just looking on a short-term time frame. In fact, I need to probably come back out to the 4 hourlies to look at beyond that sort of that's running it pretty much into those prior lows there. Beyond that, there's not a lot below us to give support, so it's sort of very much an open sort of move downwards potentially. So really, at the moment, euro looking pretty weak. Any bounces? Well, there's the daily pivot above us, which could be hit, but as I say, at the moment it looks very, very weak. Okay, looking at the pound dollar. Now the pound's held up better. Yesterday we failed to break through those highs and hold above those highs. We broke the highs, just took out some orders that were sitting just above there and just rolled over again, and it's just at this juncture, well, looking relatively weak. It put a 4 hourly pivot swing in there that continues through, and at the moment it's just holding into the 21 moving average there. Looking at the 60-minute time frame, and effectively looking across this sort of line here, we've got this sort of what appears to be a bit of a head and shouldery type pattern, which could see us sell off and run down towards that S1, maybe back down towards the weekly pivot or beyond. However, it is holding up at the moment, and if we see euro sort of just bounce off its S1 or just hold there around that sort of area, well, if cable starts breaking its near-term highs, maybe it could run back up towards its pivot. It is one of the stronger currencies versus the dollar, and there, as I say, there is the chance it could we could see it move up during the morning back towards its daily pivot and maybe back beyond. Okay, and dollar yen, let's look at this, and weakness prevailed, and we're pushing back again, broken the sort of near-term highs there, and now really heading up back towards that 121.50 area, 124.50 area rather, where all around this area we've seen sort of selling coming into play normally, but it is holding up quite well and pushing up at the moment. Of course, this could all change through the morning. So often when I do these recordings quite first thing, we see the sort of alternative view coming in, and really for this I need to see if any alternative views here to breaks or any dollar weakness could come into play. We've got a bit of divergence running in on this hourly dollar yen, and if these come into play, well, then there's almost a potential, at least some heading towards their daily pivots. And finally, the Aussie dollar. Aussie dollar really just consolidating on a daily basis here, and the 4 hourly is pretty difficult to see too much going on with it at the moment. The downside is always the easier side to be trading with it. Saying that, when you look at it from a daily perspective and look at these hourly bars, very intraday basis, and you can see it's a pretty messed up beast at the moment. And really, from where we are at the moment, let's just refresh this chart. There we go, already through the daily pivot. It's possibly the easier one to play down towards its S1, or from these break of these lows. If it starts breaking down, and then it would head back towards those prior lows, which would be a reasonable sort of target. But as you can see, yesterday so choppy for hours and after hour, just chopping one way and almost the other way, Even with the news, it just sort of chopped either way, bounced back a little bit, caught its daily pivot, and then now just sort of heading back south again. Okay, there's not much else there. Now just looking through the news coming out today, got US advanced GDP, so it's the first figure coming out at 1:30. That'll be pretty key, although I would guess from the non-farms, but the FOMC reports and things that were coming out, this is not going to disappoint the market too much, although I'm sure they will have an advanced view of it, or at least most of the data from behind it. So probably not going to disappoint the market too much. Expected to come in at 2.6% versus last view at -0.2. So anything good on that could see the dollar rallying more. Any disappointments would see the dollar slipping somewhat. Beyond that, there are some flash CPI figures coming out, German figures coming out throughout most of the morning, and it's sort of really about midday by the time we get the overall figure for the German numbers coming out. So it's minor volatility from those PMI figures coming out as they come out. Okay, that's pretty much it for today. Very say light down news wise, but we have got the news at 1:30, which I think may be quite key. Right, I'm going to leave you to it. Have a great day. Bye for now.